Good afternoon. We're in Chartres today, Chartres, France, and we're with a very prominent family of stained glass window makers. I spent 14 years at Christ Church Los Altos, which had all the walls of the church were made of stained glass by Gabriel Loire. And then at Grace Cathedral, our rose window is a Loire window, and we have many other windows at the higher levels and all over the place. Some of our most beloved stained glass windows are made here in Chartres, France. And I'm here with Bruno. Bruno Loire is Gabriel Loire's grandson, and he's continuing this very important art form here in this beautiful setting. Bruno, thank you very much for talking with us today.
Thank you to come in Chartres and to see your studio.
Yes, yes. We have a film of your grandfather speaking with the dean of the cathedral in the 1960s and 1950s. I wonder if you can talk a little bit about the stained glass that you make. Where did your grandfather get the idea to make the glass in this way, and what makes his work unique among stained glass makers in the 20th and 21st century?
When my grandfather began to make and create stained glass, he used dalle de verre technique.
Yes, dalle de verre.
Maybe the other name is slab glass. It's a very thick glass with concrete between the piece of glass. It's not lead. And he was very famous for this technique. And most of the commission he had in the United States were with this technique of dalle de verre. And he was one of the most famous artists to work with dalle de verre. Either in France, I think in the world also.
Yes, it is. I mean, all around in Japan and in Texas, yes. There are some amazing and beautiful. And even as I've gone and visited all the cathedrals that we've visited on this tour, I love the cathedral windows at Grace the most. Because it's not just the images that you see in the glass, but the color of the light that comes into the cathedral that is so beautiful.
Yes, the dalle de verre gives you a very strong colors, stronger than the normal glass, traditional glass. And it is always brilliant glass, because the dalle de verre can be faceted with a hammer, I can show you.
Yes.
And so it is always brilliant. Even if it's a cloudy weather, it's always shiny.
Yes, and I can see on the glass in Los Altos the chip marks from the hammer breaking the glass to make it have that surface. And there's been so many mornings where I've been the first one there in the very early morning light, and I've been surrounded by these beautiful colors. It's been very, very important to me. I wonder if you can talk about your decision too to become an artist in this form. Was that a hard decision, or was it just seemed like it was natural when you grew up that you would do this work?
When I was young, it was normal that I don't want to do this work.
Right, of course.
Because it is too simple, maybe.
Yes.
And I would like to work in agriculture. And I do study for country planning, town planning. I work few years in this
field,
fields, and but I was very. I live in this place, in the studio.
Right.
The house in the studio, or the studio is in the house. So it's. So I came back to the studio with my brother Hervé, and we arrived the same years in 1986.
Right.
And during 10 years, the three generations, Gabriel, my grandfather, Jacques, my father, and Hervé and I, we worked together during 10 years.
Yeah, and then 1986 was the year that the Los Altos stained glass windows were installed. And so there have been generations of deans and priests from our diocese who've come here and sat on the step and talked to your family.
And my brother Hervé went in Los Altos to
go and make sure that the installation was right.
Yes.
Yeah. And the great thing too is that we have leaded stained glass also, and it deteriorates much more quickly than the dalle de verre glass that we have. So we like it in every respect. But I really thank you so much for when my wife hugged you, we both had tears in our eyes. I didn't realize how powerful those windows have been for us. Every day we see the windows. Every day we benefit from your work. So thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you for your congratulations.
And my name is Malcolm Clemens Young. I'm the Dean of Grace Cathedral in San Francisco, California. Thanks for watching More Good News.